Hi, I'm Catherine from Catherine Learns Stuff. The other week I showed you how to make single pocket pouches. This week we're upping the ante and we're doing 2 pocket pouches. So in this project we're going to show you how to make a pouch that has 2 pockets instead of 1. So hopefully this is what you're looking for. So let's jump over to our workstations and get this project started. We're going to be making a little pouch with 2 pockets, and so what we need for this is we need 2 pieces of fabric. Each piece is 14 inches by 4.5 inches, and then we have a piece of interfacing the same size. Now if you've got interfacing that's an iron-on interfacing, you can iron that on right away, or if you've got the kind that I have that you have to sew into place, you get to sew that in. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to align our 2 pieces of fabric facing the design inwards. And then put the interfacing on top. Now I just want to pin this into place so it holds together. This is a large piece, so I want to make sure that I don't lose my bits. Now I'm pinning it at the side so that I can fold this in half in a moment, because I'm going to need to draw on a circle here because I don't like having square edges. So depending on what the fabric looks like, if it's too dark, you might not be able to draw on the outside, but you can draw on the inside of the interfacing. And all we're going to do is just fold this in half, and I'm using a coaster to just draw a half circle or a quarter circle here at the edge so that I know where to cut this. And this is just going to give me the spot where I need to cut for my design. Now I've folded this in half so that I only need to cut it once, and then it should, in theory, since I've got this folded, it should be in the same spot on both sides. So I'm just going to simply cut this off. And now that's ready to go. I'm going to place a few more pins into this now to hold this in place. Okay, and so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew around the whole outside, and I'm going to leave a gap here at the bottom so that I can flip this inside out. I'm going to quickly go over to my sewing machine and sew this together. Okay, so now that I've sewn around the edges, what I'm going to do is just put my pins off to the side here. I don't need those anymore. And I'm going to trim off the surplus of the fabric that I've got. And I'm going to make sure that I'm not cutting this part in because this is going to need to be folded over. So I'm going to quickly snip this off. Now that I've got this trimmed, I'm going to simply flip this inside out. What I want to make sure I'm doing is that I want to make sure that I'm flipping in between the 2 fabric sheets and not between the fabric and the interfacing if you've got the sew-on interfacing like I do, because then you're going to be needing to flip it backwards again. Okay, now that I've flipped this through, I need to just pull my edges, my corners out, and I'm just going to poke this all through very slowly here, and I want to make sure I'm getting all the round edges at the far end as well. Okay, so now this is ready. I need to make sure that this bit here that I cut out earlier, where my hole was to flip this, is flipped inside so that I've got no fabric coming out. Now I'm going to quickly iron this flat so that we can continue to our next step. Now that my fabric is ironed, what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from this side here, and I'm going to line myself up here at this spot. And what I want to do is off of the top from here, I want to go 2.5 inches in to my first spot, and I'm just going to mark it with my pen so that I know where I'm going. So I've got 1, 2.5, so here, and then from this spot I'm going to mark off 1 inch to this spot. Now this point here, this 2.5 inch mark, is where I'm going to be folding my design. And this 1 inch mark is where I'm going to be folding my first part. So this is going to be where my first flap goes. And now I'm going to do another inch mark to here on this one. And I'm going to fold this again one more time. Now I'm going to clip this with my clippies because this is too thick to go with my needles. Now this is going to be the shape and size of my pouch, and I'm going to just double check everything here before I do anything. So my card will fit in this way. It won't go in right now because my clips are there, but that's where the card will go in. And then this is where I'll have space for an additional card and more and money if I'd like. I'm just going to flip this over to make sure that my pouch closes and allows me to have space to add the clip here onto this piece. So everything is lined up nicely. So now I'm going to quickly just sew this along these edges here to make sure that this goes in. But before I do that, I might just iron this down a little bit so that it holds in place. Okay, so now I've got my 2 pockets sewn in. The last thing that I need to do is I need to add some snaps onto this. So I'm going to measure this, and I want my snap to be in this area here. So I'm going to quickly just fold my purse in half, and I'm going to make a hole with my pokey tool in this spot here. And that's going to go onto my part there. But what I find is that it's hard to make a hole in the second piece. We're going to use a dark blue here. I'm going to put this piece through here first. And now, once I know that this is going to go on top of here, I'm going to kind of squish this down and make a little indent where I need to make my next hole. And that way they'll be lined up. Now I'm going to put another piece in through the bottom here. And I need a male and a female end. Let's do those. All right, need a male and a female end. I'm just going to snap these into place with my little riveting tool. 1 and 2. And now this snaps shut, like that. And then I can put my card in and out of this pocket here and this pocket here. And I've got a little pouch. And there you have it. We've successfully made our double pocket pouches. In this video, I didn't have a chance to get good footage of me actually sewing these together. So if you want to see that in my videos, let me know in the comments below so that I can make sure to include that in future videos. If you tried this project out and it turned out, let me know. If it didn't, let me know as well. If you've got any suggestions on how to make this better, also let me know. I want to hear those. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Happy crafting!